Truck 17, command.
Go ahead, Truck 17.
Primary complete.
Command copies. Primary complete.
What's up, folks, and welcome to another episode of Primary Complete. Before we kick off the show, do us a quick favor. Like and subscribe. At the end of the show, if you enjoyed it, leave a quick comment. These simple little things make our platform more visible to folks who are looking for the type of show that we produce. For all of you who are constantly interacting with us on social media, talking about the show in your firehouses and with your friends, we can't say thank you enough for helping us build this awesome community. If you haven't yet, check out the social media. Search Primary Complete Podcast on Insta, Facebook, TikTok. Give it a quick like. We also got a website. Feel free to check that out. www.primarycompletepodcast.com. Thank you all once again. Enjoy the next episode and continue to help us make conversation great again.
Yeah, we did fly off the rails.
It was fun to listen to, though.
Mm-hmm. I bet.
I'm not deleting any of that.
Yeah.
That was fun. Oh, boy. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome. What is today's date?
Today is the 25th. 25 April.
25 April.
25 April.
You know what?
3 days to my anniversary and my son's birthday. 28th.
How about that?
He was born on our second wedding anniversary.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, no more anniversary celebrations.
Yeah.
They're all birthday now.
They're birthdays. Yeah, I get that. The 19th was my son's birthday. And also, if I'm looking at this right, our structure fire day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Friday was a wild day. Wild day. Especially your rig. Yeah, you had a sweet fire. We got to do a lot that day. We had the bridge rescue on figure 8 with the worker.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we had a little bit of a rope rescue, if you can define it as that. I'm not going to paint this picture like it was some difficult thing because it wasn't.
Yeah.
But still one of those calls. It's like a once in a career call.
Yeah.
Especially around here, you don't get to deal with that kind of stuff. So that was fun. Went from that high, and then later on in the day, got to fight fire.
Yeah. What was the time difference? Like, how long were you guys cleared from the...
It was a good little bit, at least a couple hours. Me and Nathan got back, and we were heavily into our workout and that sort of thing. Yeah, we were out back half naked when structure fire call came out, so
Yeah.
that's normal for us.
I noticed Nathan was extremely sweaty, and I was like, did we do that much work? So that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a trip. That it's so good to get a fire.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I haven't had a first due fire in a long time.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man. It doesn't matter. Just like what you were talking about earlier, it doesn't matter where you're at in life. When you get a fire, it goes away immediately.
Yeah.
It comes back, of course, when you get back to the house, and it's like, oh well, that's still here. But
Yeah. Whatever chemical release or whatever's happening, if you could bottle that up,
I'd overdose on it.
I was going to say you could ruin your bank account trying to keep up with it.
Yeah, I would overdose. I'll be a junkie for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really cool. Kudos to you, by the way. When everything had settled down, this is part of the things that I can appreciate, and I want to say some of it has probably come as a result of this show, as far as your things you've learned because of this show, conversations we've had with other people and stuff like that. And I feel like this was taking a page from that. When everything had kind of slowed down, I had just put some ladders back in my truck and all this, and there was a handful of us sitting around there, BSing like we always do, and before we pick up the next cleanup task or whatever, and you were like, well, we're all here. What critiques you got? What critiques you got?
Yeah.
That was neat. I was like, look at this guy.
Yeah. Always improve.
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
Yeah. I was not worried, but if there's going to be something to learn, the more time that goes by, the more something you notice gets forgotten. So I want to know right now.
Yeah, I think that's a double-edged sword. I think there are some things like immediately, like if you did something pretty acute that you could have done, you could have done that different, you could have done that better. That's a great time. But I also think the more there is a time slot here before it becomes something you forget. But if you dwell on something or you rethink something, replay it, there's probably more things you could have done better that you just can't think of in the time frame. But that gets addressed. We do those in the county anyway. We have the little after action reviews or whatever. So
Yeah.
that part's pretty cool.
After after we had that conversation and I was moving on with the rest of my day, you know, a normal ranch style house, you can look at like the front door and the big window and visualize the bedrooms are on the opposite side, and there's a few like normal things you know about where the kitchen is, and you can start to paint this picture. That shape house is the narrow long.
That's right.
So when we went in the front door, it was a closed-in porch, and then another front door, and then the rest of the house, and that was like, it was different. I knew the fire was in the back, so I didn't waste a whole bunch of time in the front, but it was a good reminder that they're not all ranch houses. Like,
yeah, I would imagine probably the city guys and stuff like that probably deal with that style of home more because they're a little more, you know, you get downtown and stuff like that, they're a little more crammed together, so they're longer than they are wider. They probably we deal with ranch style houses all the time. That's normal for us. But yeah they're probably listening and like, we do that all the time.
Yeah. You know how on a 360, you are looking at the house and the fire conditions, but also the roof. Like,
Sure.
What is it? What kind? The vent pipes
Yep.
will tell you a lot. And I didn't on that one. I didn't look for that stuff. Like I was comfortable in knowing, I know about the layout of the house. It's a small house.
Sure.
So, but that was my takeaway. My one thing I was like, I should be better about that part. Like if it's not a brick ranch that I have been in a million times, then look for you're already doing a 360.
Right.
You can note stuff like that and
Sure.
it not cost you any time, and it just helps everything.
Sure.
But the fire went good.
Yeah, we got there, and in the truck when we got there, you know, Captain called, we're going to the roof, whatnot. I'm sure we'll get criticized for that later. But
No, it was, yeah.
But so I was a little bit behind them, obviously, because I had to finish getting dressed and get ladders and that kind of stuff while they were making their way up. So I went to what would have been the Delta side of the house, and they were set up on the Bravo side. So I had to put my ladder down, walk around. And I was looking for them, and I was like, oh, there they are. So I went back, got my ladder, come around, and me and the captain got on the roof, and he was like, go knock that turbine vent off, and then I'll go knock this one off. So we went and knocked the turbines off. It was chugging. I mean, it was kicking out of there, and I was like, okay. I said, we cutting? And he was like, yes.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. So then Nathan comes up, cuts a hole. It went pretty well. It was fun.
On my 360, I finished that up, and I tried to hand out assignments, and the whole water supply tenders conversation was happening, and I couldn't get anything. And then units were like level 1 staging. That was one of my frustrations. Every fire's going to have, a little stuff going on. I was trying to give out assignments, and that conversation wouldn't let me in. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those moments where I criticize the way we implement the blue card system here. Mm-hmm. When I ride up, I find comfort in knowing that other company officers, they know the tasks that have to be handled, and I don't have to tell them. I understand the freelancing conversation, and I understand the chaos conversation, but it can be controlled chaos at the same time. That's what a fire is, really, right?
Yeah.
I understand all these conversations and all these aspects, but in our little county here, you're asking a bunch of the first in company officer. Mm-hmm. So you got to handle your problem, which is putting the fire out, all the same time while you're inside supposedly orchestrating this what's a parade of people coming to you,
right,
and then trying to assign a task and whatnot. I mean, I wish there was a way that we could comfortably mold like the old company ops system and the blue card system together. It seems like that would be perfect for here in the county, but I don't know. So I guess it's just my lack of understanding, probably.
No, remember when he asked if I thought we needed more water? He was like, "We got 3,000 gallons on scene." Mm-hmm. I knew we could put the house out with that, but that tire shop was like right there. I'm like, if we burn down this guy's tire shop, like if the exposure catches off because I was comfortable with the residential water supply.
Right.
So that was my, no, we need the tenders response.
Well, I don't think that was a bad call.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think it was a bad call. It'll be a good after action review. Or
I think so,
I
too.
think it'll be a good one. Hopefully, it'll have some good takeaways.
I was unaware that 12 was out. So
Right.
the tenders were available and sitting there, but there was no humans to get on them.
Right.
Yeah, Tyson made a good move and got somebody on the way there to get a tender like off the radio. It was just he knew, so he made that happen. That probably helped us out.
Sure. Yeah, you gotta have some confidence in people and allow them to make those kind of behind the scenes things. You got to empower people to be able to make that kind of call. You don't
Yeah.
have to be so micromanaged. I like it.
Yeah, yep.
I like it.
Micromanaging has that unintended effect. I'm not any kind of a fan of micromanaging. One of the negatives it does is the people under that level in the rank structure then won't manage. They'll call and get permission or
Right.
double, rethink it and go back
Sure.
and forth.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah. Tyson's not that guy. Yeah, he'll make a decision.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Speaking of, been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, we hadn't put out a show in a little bit. It's
Yeah.
been a little bit. We're off of our. We kind of fell off the tracks with the consistency train.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I told you earlier. I feel like we should probably say something about that. However, I'm not willing to apologize.
No,
You see some of these heavy YouTubers and they don't put out content for 2 or 3 days, and they're like, "I'm sorry, I did this. Yeah, I'm not apologizing for anything."
No, the most beautiful part of that is we did record a show.
That's correct.
Yeah, and that show we should start a Patreon account or something and let that one ride on it. It was great. It was a great show.
I needed it.
Yeah, yeah. It was a let the guard down. It was almost like a vent session / what are we gonna do?
That's an accurate description right there. Event session. It was definitely an event session,
Yeah.
but that's okay. Yeah, we do have some new challenges in front of Primary Complete and what it is. That we are our goal, our mission of what we want to do with the show, and that's okay. I mean, it won't be the last time. There'll be some sort of wall that we'll have to bust down or re-navigate around or something. There'll be plenty of things. I think that's what makes the difference in businesses and with people who are passionate about doing something. When they get to a roadblock, it's just easier just to stop doing it.
Yeah,
It's just easier to, the business hit a hard time. I'm out of houses to pressure wash or whatever. You have a slow month and it's just like, oh, well, it would just be easier not to do it anymore.
right.
And that's the case here. It would be easier, obviously, easier for me and you both to never talk on these microphones again.
Yeah, that's the easiest.
That's the
move.
easiest thing ever. Wouldn't have to worry about raising funds for financing to keep these lights on in this place. Really, that's the only bill we have, so minus that. But there's other stress with it, trying to make content that is relatable, educational, entertaining,
Useful.
useful, without just two retards talking on the microphone. Can I say that?
I don't know.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
roll
Okay.
with it.
Yeah. Without just, two degenerates talking on the microphone. So that's a mental taxation as well. So, but yeah, the easiest thing to do would be to close the doors and say, well, we tried.
Yeah. The best thing about a mission statement or the motive is in that moment to be able to just back up and, all right, how do we get here? What are we doing? And we've been busy.
True. Very
Yeah.
true. There's been a whole bunch of behind the scenes stuff popping off. I told you I wasn't going to say it, but a realignment.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
I don't know why I don't like terms that start with anything. Like,
Yeah.
We're not stopping a journey. We're opening up to more. And that does need to happen.
You described it good. You said when you say something like realignment or reconfiguring or refranchising, whatever, it forms the assumption in your brain that you failed at something. Like
Right.
idea A failed, and now we're, redoing it and coming up with another thing. none of our ideas have failed. Nothing that we have done has failed by any means. There's just some things that we're shifting focus towards. And I'll stop right here and speak for just a second and just give some examples of my own. Throughout the 80 shows that we've done, in the beginning, it was all, we had this nucleus that we were focusing on. Remember when we went through this idea process? I'm sure we've talked about this on other shows, but when we were in our planning phase of this whole thing, we drew out this circle thing of how we kind of wanted the organic growth of the show to happen, or how we saw it happening. And then at the very center of the circle, the smallest circle, the linchpin, if you will, the bearing in the wheel, the very center was local. Like, we want to provide this entertainment, this platform, this shared knowledge, whatever outlet, however you, the listeners, choose to describe what it is that we do here. We wanted it to be local, and then we wanted it to calmly go out organically as it kind of grew, and however big those rings got before they rippled out, that's just what happened. But we wanted to be super local, and I'm guilty. We started getting some pretty heavy recognition. I mean, we were guests on some really big shows, the biggest show, and that kind of, I allowed myself to lose focus a little bit on the local stuff. I started searching for guests that were a little, I'm not going to say out of our league because we're all firemen. So, but they were a little more recognizable. I wanted to get I was looking for notoriety, I guess. I wanted to supply our platform and what we're doing here to people on a broader scale, and kind of lost focus on the local side of stuff. And shame on me, but I'm not making excuses. I'm a human. I'm glad that I was able to see it. Yeah, it took what it took.
Yeah,
but
we landed on a big ring a couple of times, so I think it's only natural to end up big ringing it for a little bit. It's probably not bad. It got some experience.
Sure.
It doesn't mean we can't come back and just pick up right at the local level and grow again.
Agreed. And I believe in our behind-the-scenes strategic planning that we've been doing over the past few weeks, that's kind of what we focused on. There's a lot of issues going on right here in our hometown, in our department, our neighboring departments. There's morale's a big thing. You can talk to any fireman almost from any of our surrounding areas, and they'll tell you that, just morale down here is in the dumps. There's a lot of problems and a lot of things that we can do to affect things here. So that's what we're focusing on. So Primary Complete is, we're taking ourselves off the national map, I guess you could say, and getting hot and heavy in the local scene. Moving forward, we're going to talk a whole bunch to local business owners, local firemen, any and every fireman. We've got a new project that we're going to work on. Hopefully it'll start in the next, we got a little bit more logistical stuff to take care of, but it'll start soon. And I think that'll be fun. So
those are pieces that get put into place and then they're in place, like truly building blocks.
Right.
Yeah. We've got fun things coming.
I believe so. We've had some downtimes in our department here in our personal lives. We've had the passing of several county commissioners, passing of Miss Chris Johnson, our fire department mom here. There's just been, I was talking to Holly the other day, and it's like there's just been like this waterfall of negativity that is just, we seem to be the splash rock at the bottom of the waterfall right now, and it's just the negativity is pouring, and it's just pounding us. It's pounding us. I know our department heads have to feel it, which then trickles down to all of us. I'm sure they feel that they don't have our support right now, and I can't say that they do 100%, and I can't say that they don't 100%. But there's struggles going on here, plenty of them, and there's plenty of excitement that's going on here.
Yeah, that was the only time in this journey. There's been times that I wish we could have done better, but that, like right after Chris Johnson, was the first time that was like we failed. That one felt like failure. now that I've had time to think about it some, it still feels like failure, but it not quite as personal. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of does feel like a failure,
It does.
but it's not. Our shoulders aren't the only ones carrying that burden.
Sure. How did you describe it when we sat down and I'm not going to say, we were just sitting here having pre-show conversation before we turned everything on. You had a way of describing kind of I don't want to say new path, but the different road to get to the same destination. You had a way of describing that. I'm trying to remember it verbatim. It's probably best if you say it.
Yeah. In the beginning, I tried to make a comparison to a fire scene, but we were focusing on the individual, like somebody's gotten themselves into or found themselves in a tough situation, sadness or whatever it is, whether it was their fault or not. Like, we just really wanted to help the individual in that situation. And now we're wanting to focus also on the system. So if we can figure out, we'll help you in this time of need,
100%. Yeah.
make the phone call, we'll help you. But we also want to figure out a way to prevent that from happening if at all possible.
Sure.
So if we can focus on the system around, the world around, and make it less likely to steer to that individual having that problem, yeah, that feels like what we're trying to do, the next step.
Yeah, I believe that, still staying with the negative, there's just so much negativity right now. The client list for that person, trying to focus on the person, is growing. So the client list of the people that we're trying to help seems to endlessly be adding names to it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's got to be a better way. So, I mean, this is just another way. You said it again. You said it earlier as well. You know, we tried doing it individually. We helped people. We helped a lot of people. And this is just another way. And we'll keep doing new ways, new things. But I think this injection of positivity to the listeners, people we listen to, people who've never heard the show that will be hearing the show in the future, kind of replaces some of that negativity. You know what I'm saying? So if we keep pushing positivity from local business owners, other firemen, Joe Blow firemen, new firemen, old firemen, whatever, just telling stories, telling who they are, sitting in the seat with us, having coffee in the morning, whatever. I think that injection of positivity hopefully will start to shorten up that list instead of continuously adding names. I'm not saying we're adding names, but more positivity on our part could possibly shorten the list.
Yeah. You know how like a size up for a structure fire or your actions taken, we've all been through the classes and we learned the technical ways of doing everything. But the one thing that changes all of it is experience, time and experience. So these conversations, I learned things that change the way my next conversation is going to go.
Sure.
I think that's part of my hope, is that in this focus on the system, that's part of it, is creating experience for anyone who wants it. It's free to see a conversation. Sometimes tough, sometimes not, sometimes fun, but the seeing a story unfold, seeing a conversation go down has got to make you better prepared for your own conversation that's going to unfold, or your own story.
Sure.
So the experience part of it seems like the most honorable. It feels right. Like, it feels like the easiest way to explain it is trying to build that experience. I wish I could build my structure fire experience like at this high of a rate. Like,
no doubt,
yeah.
right? No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
I've calmed down in stressful situations since the beginning of this. Like I've never been the fly. Well, I do get angry sometimes, but in my adult life, I'll take things and then respond. I feel more and more confident in keeping the even keel, taking this shitty situation or this thing that I'm supposed to be now helping to resolve. And through this, it's getting easier and easier, and I'm getting better.
Sure.
I sure hope that anybody else involved in it in any way, listener, if you're seeing it and getting experience through it, I hope that's a benefit.
Yeah. I feel certain it is.
Mm-hmm. It's almost equal to, and maybe equal to, trying to help that individual that's in the dark spot. If you can help all the people around that individual, then I don't need a notarized copy. I just need to feel like we're helping everybody. And
Yeah, I'm with you. That's a good way to put it. And we could talk about our new adventure. That's this article that I showed you, or that you read over. I told you I found yesterday. I don't think it's a new article by any means, but it's one, and I plan on reading it before we get off the air today, just to kind of a recap.
Mm-hmm.
But this helping everything. This article talks about the decline of the fire service brotherhood and sisterhood, and that I don't know why. I've always felt strongly about the brotherhood, and I don't know if I practice it the best. Maybe I don't know. I would like to think I did, or I do, but I don't know. But I do feel a decline in it for sure, and that's one thing I felt we could do better here at Primary Complete. Like, we talk about it all the time. Like, that's what we want to do. Our mission statement. That's what. But what are we actually doing? And are bringing in the heavy hitter instructors throughout the country to talk about the way they put out fires or new hose stretches and all that. Is that actually, I'm not saying it doesn't add value, because it absolutely does. It's irreplaceable value. But is it, what's the grand scheme? And if building the brotherhood, and if that's our mission, is that the best way to do it? And I can't say that I think it is. I think there's other ways to do it that could be more beneficial. So that was a conversation we had last week, or part of the conversation. We talked about in our event session of just fresh ways to one, help locally on a broader scale, more on a local level, but then also how to kind of keep a community, like, and build a community, grow the actual community, the brotherhood, if you will. And that brought us to the little project that we'll have coming out super shortly. I don't guess we need to keep it a secret by any means, but it's going to be simple, super easy. That's my coin phrase. I say that all the time. Super simple, super easy. Yeah. The weekly par check.
Yes. When you deliver the idea, I can visualize it. I can see it. Like this, everybody understands what a par check is.
Sure.
Like that part won't be hard to explain at all.
Right.
And to have a regular conversation that's easy to access and relevant, it just seems like a fun direction to move.
Sure. So the grand idea of the weekly par check is once a week, we'll do 10, 15, 20. I don't know. It might end up being 2 hours. Who knows? But the idea is to keep it, under 20 minutes, 20 minutes max, and air it one day a week. And it's going to be a live show. It'll be 100% live, 100% free. And the hope is that if we choose a time, and maybe some of the listeners will give some feedback here, but we're thinking somewhere between the hours of 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. So that seems to be the kind of lull time. I'm not going to say the lull, but that seems to be the revisiting of the coffee pot time in the firehouse. Its truck checks are done, your pass-ons are done, the kind of morning hustle and bustle is kind of over with, and you're kind of revisiting the coffee pot to plan out the rest of the next little bit of the day. It's kind of before some training starts. So it's it'll be a show that is live, that firehouses can join as a group, individuals can join if they're off work, whatnot. We're going to be inviting, and the doors will be open to any human being on earth almost that wants to come into the studio, sit down, be part of the conversation with the fire departments, with the individuals who are listening live. It'll just be a big interaction. And it's just keep checking the pulse of everybody that's listening. Make sure everybody's good, on a mental health side of things, just providing entertainment. It'll be fun. It'll
Yeah.
be fun to get that many people interacting all at one time. So
Yeah,
it'd be a
I see a
giant,
range from tailboard to commissioner, like
yeah,
or local business owner, like
sure.
all over the map.
Sure. If you know or are a local business owner that's interested and you want to promote your business, this is a free opportunity to do it. Just come in, sit down, chat for a second about what it is your business does, what it provides. Hey, and then we'll sit right here and sip some coffee. Or if you're into sipping bourbon at 9 a.m., then you're more than welcome. Whatever, then that's fine. But I think it'll be a really fun way to I hate the word give back, because we're not giving back anything. We're just providing. So I think it'll be a really neat way to allow me and you more opportunity to interact with people, which is what I want to do.
Yeah,
I want to go to every firehouse every day and talk to people. So,
that. God, I hope this doesn't seem like a big jump. That the magic wand question that you ask at the end of shows.
yes,
Lately, like in just the recent, us being so busy and just kind of doing like inner exams of what I got going on, I have a new magic wand answer.
all right,
And for whatever reason, hearing you talk just hit me. Remember before the show, I was talking about how if somebody does something like commits a foul against me, and then I have this default response. In the fire service, like all over, and probably other industries, we're hard on each other. You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I guess I need the magic wand to fix that. But I have a short list of people that I'm mad at on a regular basis. And then if I hear their name or see their name, it just instills this like not pleasant feeling.
Almost this chemical reaction that goes on in your body.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's automatic, and I don't want to do that. Like that little part of myself I want to change, but the magic wand, I think more people than me do it. I wish we could figure out a way to let the default in the industry be positive thoughts.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like if people do things against you, that's on them too. Like the people I'm mad at, I didn't make it up.
sure.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
Yeah. But at the same time, I don't want to carry it. I don't want to just keep being mad. So
yeah. I agree.
I need the magic wand for that one.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I've always said that I've not wanted to hold grudges. Like I try not to let people affect my life so much that I have to rethink about it. But I've caught myself rather lately seeming to hold grudges, and I don't know how to. That's uncharted water for me, and I don't know what's made me feel so strong about it.
Same.
But it's
Maybe just acknowledging it. Like
maybe.
I'm not trying to throw you on the couch here, but maybe just the idea that acknowledging this is a thing that I do that I don't want to do.
Right.
So maybe that's step one.
Yeah. I don't feel like it can be anything positive. Like it can't help me personally any. Like
No.
that's a cancer that's got to be cut off. It's a bad character flaw. It's got to be gone. So, yeah.
It is a cancer. That's a good example.
Yeah. Harboring negativity is a cancer for sure. So, and there's a fresh feeding of it in
Yeah.
our world around right now. So, and our industry.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's on a national level. That's on definitely on a local level.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I think honestly, not even just limiting to our industry, but the climate, like just
Sure.
in the world. Yeah.
And I can't help but think it's going to get worse.
We can hope that it gets better.
Yeah, dude, we're fixing to see a 2023. We're almost halfway through 2023, which is wild, isn't it? Well, You
Yeah.
know what 2024 is? It's a freaking election year,
Oh yeah.
bro.
Some gigantic crisis is about to kick
Oh
off.
my God.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to get nasty, and probably. I hope not. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
We're doing some reverse psychology. Maybe if I speak about it, it won't happen.
Yeah.
So,
Do I need to go buy some N95s or yeah.
yeah, who knows? I mean,
Or toilet paper?
Tucker Carlson left Fox. Don Lemon left CNN. What is the world coming to?
I don't know, man.
Bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you got social media, you've seen that. That's
Mm-hmm.
been all over the place. There's some podcasts I listen to that do like little weekly news shows and stuff like that, and that's kind of who I get my news from. And they've had some interesting thoughts on why all that's going down.
Mm-hmm.
I encourage people to listen to it if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Don't waste too much time on it.
Right.
Good deal. Well, I guess I can read this, and then we can sign off and get back to work behind the scenes,
There you go.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So this article came from, I got all my little notes scribbled on the back for
Yeah.
people
No. I'm glad I didn't write it more back there.
maybe specific things you should have read back there. But so the article came from Fire Rescue One. They're a pretty big outlet when it comes to fire service news and stuff like that. The only thing about the author, it didn't give me a department that he works for, but his name is John Cuomo, something like that. I'm sorry if I butchered that. If you listen to this, I'm sorry. But he's 24 years in the fire service. Does a lot of step up stuff, step up training chief, step up EMS chief. Anyway, served a lot of stuff. Been in the service for a hot minute. So let's see here. The beginning of the article basically starts out as an example. I'll just read it. 7 keys to rebuilding the fire service brotherhood and sisterhoods. Incumbent on every member. That's weird. It's okay. All right. It's incumbent on every member to help build a supportive culture at the firehouse. One that captures the spirit of serving and invests in the emotional needs of crews. This is article printed off weird. I'm trying to decipher. Did you catch this when you were reading it? The way it printed off, it's put words together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not easy to read. Let's see. One that captures the spirit of serving and invest in the emotional needs of crews. March 20th, 2023 by John Cuomo. Sorry if I butchered that again. From tragedy to triumph, an event that galvanized the nation. One Football Analysis commented 2 weeks after the shocking cardiac arrest of Damar Hamlin in the middle of an NFL game. Fans in the stadium were visibly upset and the announcers were struggling to speak. However, those hardest hit were the players, not just Hamlin's fellow Bills players, but the opposing Cincinnati Bengals players as well. They encircled the emergency workers performing life-saving techniques on Hamlin. They remained together, holding hands and praying, even after he was rushed off the field in an ambulance. A fan holds a poster honoring injured Buffalo Bills player Damar Hamlin before an NFL football game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati, Sunday, January 8th, 2023. A fan that just replayed that player anyway. It says players from all over the sports world tweeted and texted their support. There was no competition, just love. What I saw in the aftermath of this incident was not only beautiful and amazing, it was inspirational. This is the type of love I wish all humanity had for each other. So where is the lesson for us? The decline of the fire service brotherhood and sisterhood. I was listening to a podcast recently in which a Navy SEAL was being interviewed. In the interview, he made a statement that as Navy SEALs, many times we eat our own. We are our own worst enemy. Unfortunately, this same attitude at times pervades the fire service as well. In my first year on the job, the wife of one of the veteran firefighters died. Only 5 fellow firefighters attended her funeral. 5. I couldn't believe it. As I watched this man sob enduring his tremendous loss, I asked myself, what happened to the fire service brotherhood and I had heard so much about? Being in and around the fire service for 30 years now, I have learned that this was not an isolated incident, nor was my department the only one like this. This is not meant to bash the service or its members, but to help it. And that starts with me and you. All right, the fire service family. How can we help the brotherhood? Following are several ways you can help if your department shows areas of decline in this area. Number 1, remember this is 7 keys to rebuilding the fire service brotherhood and sisterhood. 1, set the example. Get to know all the brothers and sisters you work with. Have a kind, friendly, and opening demeanor. Smile as much as you can. Kindness and happiness are contagious. If you start being this person every day, it will catch on with others. Number 2, model humility. Humility actually draws people to you, whereas pride pushes people away. It takes great strength to be humble, to be a humble person, but all should display this attitude in the fire service, especially upon promotion. Where ego and pride build walls up, humility draws people closer. There is no greater way to teach and help others than to do it with a humble attitude.
Amen.
Practice acceptance. Today, U.S. fire departments reflect the great diversity of our nation like never before. We must be completely accepting of every single person and treat them with the same respect, dignity, kindness, and care that we would for our own family members. By doing this, we make them an extension of our family and bring that bond to the service. Can agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Be generous with praise. Some people find it easier to constantly tear others down rather than praise them. Perhaps it's due to jealousy or their own lack of self-esteem, but go against the grain here and be liberal with praise and commendation. Nothing makes a person feel better and like a value member of a team than recognition for their hard work. I might not be the best person to read stuff.
You're doing fine.
Offer gratitude. Be grateful for a job where you are blessed to serve others. Be grateful to your brothers and sisters serving alongside you. Be grateful for the gift of life today. Gratitude will make you a happy person, and that happiness will catch on and bring others close to you. Extend understanding. This is the one that I need to work on myself. Extend understanding. While Hamlin's collapse during the football game shocked spectators, it was a sight many of us see every day, multiple times a day. In an average year, around 240 million 911 calls are made in the U.S. That averages out to over 600,000 calls per day. Even though we train and try to be prepared for it, these types of scenes played out in front of us constantly will have an effect on us, on top of the other pressures that come with life. Raising children, relationships, money issues, health problems, death of loved ones, and so much more. Remember, be kind to everyone you meet. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Let that be a support. Let's be that support for others. Spread love. Love is the glue that maintains the family bond. It is the greatest quality, and I believe the answer to all humanity's problems. Maya Angelou once said, is that right? M-A-Y-A?
Maya Angelou.
Maya Angelou. I feel like I should know that name. Maya Angelou once said, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Show love for others, let them see it, and let them feel it. And that's the end of the 7. If you want to go read that article for yourself, which I highly suggest, I don't know that I was the best person to read it, but for some reason felt compelled to do it. Mm-hmm. So thank y'all for struggling with that for me. You can find it on firerescue1.com or just look them up on social media. They do some sort of article almost every single day. Dina Ali's written a few articles that have been in there. So, yeah, check them out. Follow them. Give them a like. Subscribe. There you go. Free plug for Fire Rescue 1.
Yeah, nice.
So
it's a good article.
It is a good article. It brings up a lot of really good points. A lot of, like I said, I don't know what made it resonate with me so much. Probably conviction, if I had to guess, just
right.
with the current climate of, the way I feel like I'm holding grudges that I don't normally do. But, yeah, there's a lot to be learned there. A lot. I appreciate him. That came at a good time for me. So
I'm looking forward to these part checks.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really good. Really good. It's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to produce the shit out of it. It's going to be big. It's going to be wild.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be fun is what it's going to be. So I got a lot of ideas I'll throw off of you when we get off air. I don't want to bore people with that stuff.
The behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. So
Yep.
Stay tuned, folks. We'll keep you updated. Check the social media. That's probably where the updates will come from, or when we're going to get the part check out, get it up and running. We might do a few. We probably will. We'll probably do a couple beta runs just to kind of make sure the technical side of things on our end is good, and then we'll yeah, we'll move on from there and blast this thing out, and it'll be real fun.
Yeah, we need to do a live broadcast and just make sure before we get like on the spot.
Oh yeah, make sure the stuff's talking to each other. So yeah, it'll be fun. Keep that in mind. Again, if you're a business owner or you know a business owner or you just want to come sit in the studio with me and Steve and drink coffee in the morning and share opinions or thoughts or whatever, you got a cool story or something happened on shift the day before or whatever it may be, reach out to us social media. Most of you probably have mine or Steve's number. Just reach out to us, make contact with us. Somebody around's got our numbers, or just hit us on social media and or comment in the show here.
Yeah,
And
come see us.
Yeah, doors are going to be open. So, cool.
Nice.
All right.
Check it out.
I hope you enjoyed that episode. Do us a favor, slide over to iTunes or Spotify or YouTube. Leave a 5-star review and leave a comment. If you want to support further, share it with somebody. Ask them to like, subscribe, and share it with their friends. If they can benefit from it, we need to spread it out. The more you like and comment, the more visible we are on all these platforms when people are just searching Firefighter Podcast. It'll come up Primary Complete a little bit quicker, and they won't have to dig quite so far to find us. We really appreciate that. Visit the website. It's a pretty good site. It's got all kinds of fun links and stuff. You can also find the shows there on the website as well, and that's www.primarycompletepodcast.com. Thank you all so much for your support. Again, we love you. Thank you for helping us make conversation great again.